Hello, 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 hello. Guess who has a coffee again? Tis your girl. She has a coffee again. You'd be forgiven for thinking that I was an absolute coffee fiend. And, well, I kind of am, actually, but, it's, I can only have, like, one coffee a day because I'm very sensitive to caffeine, and it is one of the great hardships on my life, and I'm not joking when I say that. I know that sounds so ridiculous, but I just love coffee, and it's such a dependency for me, like it's such a comfort, that I wish I could have several coffees in a day. But anyway, I cannot, but I do have coffee now, so let's just appreciate what we have, shall we, Kira? So I'm gonna have a sip of my coffee now. Delightful. What was I gonna say? Okay, well, hi to everyone. Welcome back if you've been here before. We're gonna have another wee coffee ramble, a wee soft-spoken ramble, and what else? Oh, if you're new, then hello, my name is Kira, and I'm currently putting up a video every day, so hopefully that shall continue. If you listen to this sometime in the future, you'll be able to see, oh yeah, she saw that through, or oh no, she didn't see that through for even another day. We shall see what the future holds. Oh, there's a car going by. What was I gonna say? Just before I get into any rambly nonsense that I go into, I just wanted to say, please take a moment to like this video. I would really appreciate that, and it helps a lot with promoting the video, as I'm sure you all know, because pretty much every creator says this, but it's true. And it can be very easy to forget to like a video even if you like it, so please just do that wee thing, just click it. A comment would be even better. I love reading the comments, and subscribe, of course, for more ASMR content. I'm actually going to record this in 2 parts because I have a voice acting job that I have to do. This guy asked me to do it's like I have to pretend to be someone leaving a voice message, and they want like a strong Dublin accent, so that's what I shall do. In case you're wondering what a strong Dublin accent sounds like, actually I really don't do a good strong Dublin accent. I am from Dublin, but I just don't have an accent. But like a softer Dublin accent would be a bit like this, like a bit well, this would be sort of like, oh my god, I just went into Cockney or something, sort of. Let me think. Dublin. Oh Jesus, I can't do it now. It's because I'm trying to think of what to say whilst also trying to think of doing the accent, which is silly because I should just say whatever is on my mind. Okay, I can always cut this out. Okay, calm down, Kira, it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, calm down, Kira, it doesn't have to be perfect. Oh my god, now I'm doing like a Scouse accent. Oh, that is mental. I can't do it. Okay, well, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna stop this recording. I'm gonna do the voiceover that I have to do, and then I can come back. And what I just did there, I wasn't trying to do an Irish accent. That was more like Mancunian. See, I really like doing accents. I don't do any of them particularly well whatsoever. But I do, like, I can half-ass quite a few accents. And I think they're serviceable until I meet someone who's from there. I had an Australian friend, and I couldn't help but like, when I was talking to her. No, how do I do an Australian accent? Sometimes I have to get one word into it, like a few sentences to get into it, like shrimp on the barbie. Dat boigen, you, Aussie. Oh, alright, no. Oh my god. You alright, mate? Oh, from Australia? I'm from Australia. Are you from Australia? I'm from Australia too. Where are you from? I'm from Melbourne. No, I can't can't do my Australian accent. Okay. Anyway, I really can't do accents today, as it turns out, like, not even remotely. But anyway, I would always try to flip into the Australian accent when I'd be speaking to my Aussie friend, and she would just give me a withering look because it was that bad, and I completely give anyone who tries to do an Irish accent, I just stare at them. I'm like, stop this now, you're a disgrace. And it does come across as mocking, but when I do it I never feel like I'm mocking, but when someone does it to me I'm like, get to, and you know the rest. Maybe you don't know the rest. In Irish and in Scottish, like, I'm not gonna curse on this channel. Well, I'll do a bit of cursing, but not like, I don't want to curse. I want to do strong cursing just because, you know, it's just not very nice. But in Scotland and Ireland we say get to F, you know, get, let's say if I don't say the F word I'll say flip, get to flip. Sounds ridiculous, get to flip, but you don't actually have to say the F part, you just say get to, and then people know what you mean. You're basically telling them to F off. Anyway, there you go. Did you believe I was in a really sad mood this morning? I was crying and all that jazz, and now listen to me. Chatter. I'm gonna come back and talk about that though. I won't be like, I don't want to be like a Debbie Downer constantly talking about my mental health, but I do want to talk about it because I think it's important to be open about it, and it helps me, so, you know, may as well. People want like a dead cheery channel, they won't necessarily enjoy my channel. My channel is about honesty and softness and finding beauty where we can and being soft when we're down, and art and poetry and mentally frolicking through meadows and caring for ourselves when we trip, I guess. Sort of, yes. Okay, well, I'm gonna do this voice acting job and then I'm gonna come back. Okay. You won't know the difference, but that's what's happening. Hello. It's back to Here I Go. Hi, I'm back. You don't know that I've been away, except that I've told you. I have heated my coffee again. It is now too hot, which is a good thing because it means that I don't have to feel like anxious about retaining its perfect temperature because it hasn't yet reached it. I've basically bought time for myself and my coffee. That's how I feel when I heat up my coffee. Now, I don't like when I heat it up too much. Now, I don't heat it up to the point where like the milk gets spoiled and the coffee gets gross, you know, like if it starts to boil, then it changes irreparably. No, what's the other word? Irrevocably. That's one of those words that I only ever see written down, I never say it. Irrevocably. Okay, well, it's a very good word. Speaking of good words, I had this idea of a video. Well, I had two ideas. One of them is that I'm going to speak in gibberish. I just thought that'd be fun. It was something I might actually share this recording sometime. It was something me and my friend Marge have done. We'll just have these quite long conversations in absolute gibberish. My gibberish, I think, sounds like it's kind of a bit Scandinavian. Her gibberish tends to be a bit, I don't know, it could almost, I'm trying to think. We don't really sound like we're speaking the same language, basically. I'll try and do a taste of mine. Möris nesko neskaberg. Alekadege sko kospidige. Oidi agistede vedige skol visnesk avdidibitgoshkanaisk. That's a wee taste of my gibberish. I just thought that'd be fun to do. Just absolute gibberish. And another video that I thought would be fun to do would be mispronouncing words, because I find that to be really quite fun. I sometimes actually will look at car licenses and mispronounce the letters in it, or like try and think how I would pronounce the letters. Like if I'm trying to think, like if the letters, and this is how it is in the UK anyway, like if there's a license plate that ends with YKK or something, if I'm in a certain mood, I'll just repeat it over in my head. I'll be like, Iki, Ikike, Haike, Yik, and so forth. I find it quite amusing. So anyway, I thought it'd be fun to just have a video of mispronouncing words. Like, for example, right here in front of me. That's my nails clicking on it. This is my preamp. It is Focusrite preamp, and the Focusrite label. So it says Focusrite on it, so I would be like, Focusrite. 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 Okay, I might just be amusing myself and possibly not amusing anyone else, but hey ho, I get to. If I can't amuse myself, I'd be lost. I'm gonna have a sip of coffee. Full disclosure, it is 3 o'clock on Monday, but you'll maybe hear this Tuesday, most likely. Well, I don't know when you'll hear it. I can't control when you who are listening, I cannot control when you're listening to this. You might be listening to this 4 years into the future on a Thursday at 3 a.m. No clue, I've no control. Why don't you tell me? Write it in the comments. Write it in the comments the exact date and time. I would find that amusing. Meanwhile, I have a candle here that I haven't lit, so I shall light it now. Here she goes. Okay, she's lighting. What do I want to say? What do I have to say for myself? So I did that voice acting job, got it sent off. So that's good. That feels like a wee weight off my shoulders. I did want to talk about how I was feeling this morning, and I am conscious of, like, I don't want to be, what do I want to say? I feel very judgy about myself when I'm feeling down. And so it's hard for me to talk about when I'm feeling down, because I always feel like no one wants to hear it, because, and this is obviously just the depression talking, though it's also partly true. It's hard to hear someone when they're feeling down, but I just always feel like, oh god, no one wants to hear this. But that is why I need to try to share, because I have to overcome that. Not have to, but I have to, even just despite having that thought, it has to not prevent me from sharing what I'm thinking and feeling, because I'm human. I get to think and feel what I'm thinking and feeling, and that's just that. But the other thing is, I do learn a lot from when I'm feeling down. I really do, and I do feel better now. But I still want to talk about what I was feeling earlier, because of the things I've learned out of it. And it's not that I learn something each time I'm feeling down. It's more often that I remember things. But man alive, it's so hard to remember everything. You know, when you're trying to treat your own mental health, you have to remember a lot. And based on your mood, you're more inclined to forget certain things. Like, it might be pretty straightforward to think to yourself, be kind, don't be so hard on yourself. But when you're feeling down, you feel down about everything, so you are going to be hard on yourself. Does that make sense? I don't know. Anyways, just a lot to remember. What I am going to do is, and this is for myself, and this is for anyone that would be helped, I'm going to, in addition to putting up these full wee rambles that I do, which I'm pretty sure is now going to become my thing, I'm going to be the rambler. That's going to be the main theme of my videos, just rambling. But then what I'm gonna do is edit out smaller parts of the videos in little chunks of, like, if I say anything that I think could help someone, I'm gonna put that up as a separate wee video, as a sort of a, it's like wee mental health, like snippet kind of playlist, so that they'll be right there, and people can, if they find it helpful, they can revisit and just have it there. So, because it's just, there's so much help on the internet, which is wonderful. We're all so lucky to have that. But, there's a lot of negatives about all the stuff on the internet, and just the internet generally, but there's a lot of positives too. But the thing is, it's so hard to remember all the stuff you learn. And even if things are in books, it's like there could be 250 pages in a book, and you might only find a few pages helpful, not because the book isn't helpful and great, but because at different moments in your life you might only need this one thing and this other thing. It's overload, really. So I'm going to try and edit things down so that if anyone finds the way I think helpful, they can consult the wee playlist. That's my plan. Anyway, the way I was feeling this morning. Well, first of all, it's a glorious day here. Just stunning. And I do feel ashamed to say this, but it is the truth, that I feel guilty when it's sunny. When I'm feeling down and it's sunny, I feel guilty. I feel like I should be out happy, enjoying everything, making the most of everything. I find it harder to just let myself feel down and not give myself such a hard time when it's sunny. So that kind of makes it a bit hard. My sleep pattern is all over the place. Need to sort that out, and I will. I'm sharing this because I'm not whinging. I'm just sharing things that I know I have to work on, things that I'm experiencing, in the hope that someone can relate and can think, oh yeah, I'll try that too. And also just because it seems to help me. So that's what I'm doing. I'm sharing all my flaws. But I'm really hoping to not do it in a way that's kind of self-indulgent and, like, I don't know, complaining and that kind of thing. I guess I just want something realistic. Like, I largely do a good job of living my life despite having mental health problems, but sometimes I struggle. And so I want to share things that help me, but I also want to share the struggle because it's just, apart from anything else, it's just what's real. It's just the reality of things. I'm gonna have a sip of my coffee. Anyway, it's really nice coffee. I just woke up feeling down today, and hadn't slept enough, woke up too late, all of that stuff. That's no good. But I shouldn't say it's no good, it's not helpful. But yeah, I just felt quite numb. Numb is the word. And when I feel numb, and when I find that when I feel numb and apathetic and a bit like I'm not really having thoughts, that's when I know that I'm actually really... Oh, and another sign is so feeling apathetic, all of that, but also when I find that I'm just watching a lot of things, like I'm just trying to zone out, that's when I know that there's a lot beneath the surface that I'm not dealing with. And so then I try and make myself write. So I did do some writing this morning, and I haven't been writing the last several days. And sometimes I don't want to write because I don't want to think the things that I'm thinking. But I have found that you can't ignore them. They don't go away by themselves. they'll scratch at you, they'll gnaw at you, or they'll cause you to do things. No, I should speak in the first person. They cause me to do things that are automated, that I'm doing on autopilot, but that don't serve me. Things like just clicking from one YouTube video to another, staying up too late despite being tired, not doing things like writing or meditating, constantly listening to things so I don't have to hear my own thoughts. And someone else commented on one of my videos about how she needs to have things playing all the time because she doesn't want to hear her thoughts, and I really related to that. But I just so relate to that, but the thoughts don't go away, they don't resolve, and it bleeds into the lack of looking at your thoughts and listening to your thoughts and dealing with them bleeds into your life. It really does. You can't. I think we can compartmentalize. I don't think we can. I really don't think we can. Or I think if we do, I think there's a price to pay, and the price is that the squishing away of thoughts comes out in another way. I really find that with myself, 100%. I can't speak for anyone else, but I 100% find that with myself. So for me, it can lead to just zoning out a lot, and at the end of the day going like, what did I do with today? Comfort eating. I'm not too bad at comfort eating, and I know everyone does it to a degree, so I really don't want to pathologize it. And it's okay to enjoy food, but I can feel in myself what I don't like is when it becomes automated, and it feels automated, and I might not even want the food that I'm eating. It's the eating that I want, and the feeling of numbness. So that's nae good. That's nae good at all. So anyway, that's my encouragement to all of you to, even if you don't know how to do it, resolve at some point to face your thoughts, even in, and your feelings, even in small segments. You don't have to face them all like a deluge, all in one day or all in one moment. No, you don't. But even just doing 10 minutes of writing every day, or talking openly to people, not telling them like, oh, I'm fine, I'm maybe just a bit stressed, but no, I'm basically fine. No, you need to talk, you need to open up, even if it's with the page that you're writing on, or in the song that you're writing, or just something. It won't resolve by itself. It's like what Rumi says, and I'm so bad at quotes, and I'm really bad at sayings, like idioms and stuff, but I can be okay at quotes, but not in this moment. Rumi says, Rumi the poet, don't turn away from the wounded place. It's where the light enters. That's what it is. That's the saying, I think, more or less. And I find that to be so true. There's a whole world beyond our tiny wounds, but you do have to go through the wound. I actually really like that description of it, because my eyes are now closed, and I'm imagining a tiny slit in our skin, and the slit is bright white, glowing, luminescent, but it hurts, and you want to not look there. Whereas if you turned towards the slit and opened it up a little bit and a little bit, it would be like when you pull across the curtains in the morning, all this bright light streams across, and it can be painful, but there is that brightness through it. I find that to be, in my life, 100% true, and especially for me as an artist, because I'm a songwriter and a poet, and I call myself a poet. It's not like I've anything published, but I do write poems, and I mean to share them more often on this channel, and I will do. I'm sort of just trying to find my footing on what I want to share with this YouTube channel, but by the way, I'll put in the description box and on the screen right now my music YouTube page, which I don't have a whole lot of things updated, but I'm gonna update it soon, so please check it out and go follow. That would be wonderful. And I have an album that you can listen to. Actually, and I'll put that on the screen now, so you can click on that and have a listen to my album, and you could buy it as well, which would help me greatly. It's just streaming though, or it's not streaming, it's an online purchase. I don't have physical copies right now. Anyway, as an artist, I really noticed that turning away from the wounds does not help. It suppresses my creativity. It really, really does. I have to be brave. I have to lean towards the pain. Anyway, my days. I really do ramble. I'm gonna have another sip of my coffee. What was I saying? What was I saying? I was saying that, what was I saying? Okay, I was talking about how I was feeling this morning, and I was feeling like, oh my god, it just shows you, when you're not feeling depressed and you look back to how you were feeling when you were down, you can just see how black and white your thinking is, but when you're in it, you don't see it. When I was in it this morning, I was feeling like all my choices have been wrong. You know, not a big deal, just everything. But particularly career-wise, because, did I just say that funnily? Career-wise. There we go. Because I've always been self-employed, and I've always struggled with money. I've always earned just below what I need to be earning, so I pretty much never have enough to travel or that kind of thing. But I, what the? Sorry. Oh, just a droplet. I thought I had a fly in my drink, in my water. I don't. My plan, I have a new plan, and my plan for the moment is voice acting, music, and these YouTube videos. The three together, I think, within the space of a year, will lead to me earning sufficient. But I'm just not there yet. And I have days where I feel really down on myself because I've had so long of struggling with money. And the other thing is, I work for myself, and so I don't get out and about working with people. And this morning, I just felt like, shit, I should have just gone down a normal career path, because then I'd be stable and I'd be spending daily time with people, and I'd have a routine that would be just built into my job. And I just felt so destroyed this morning, feeling hounded by the feeling that I'd made poor choice after poor choice. And then, of course, I felt, alright, well, I have to fix everything today. Or tomorrow, or whatever, I need to fix this now, everything must change. And the reason I'm bringing this up is partly because it helps me, but also partly because, I have learned to not try remotely to come to big decisions when I'm feeling down. You cannot trust the decisions that you make when you're feeling down. Apart from anything else, when you're feeling down, you're not strong enough to make big changes. And I'm now telling you what I've learned, so I'm talking to you directly. I'm not talking about myself. I'm giving you advice. And you can take it or leave it. If it's not helpful, just discard it. That's completely fine. But you who might be struggling, whether you're struggling with mental health or struggling with identity or not knowing where to go in your life, what have you, I'm not saying don't take the information, the data. I'm not saying don't take the data or collect the data that comes up when you're feeling down. And by data, I mean the thoughts, the things that are stressing you out, the struggles that you have. But you just take it as data. Take it as data that you will compile and analyze when you're feeling stronger or when you're feeling better. That's my advice to you, because when you're down, whether you're anxious or depressed, and those two states are the ones I have experience with, so, and I think a lot of people can relate, but I don't, for example, I don't have experience with dependency issues or dealing with abuse or that kind of thing, so I don't want to come across as if I know more than I do, because I really don't. I'm really just sharing what works for me and has worked for me. But, what was I saying? Man, I derail myself so easily. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Here's one of the main things you have to remember when you're dealing with depression and anxiety. You must always remember that those two states will force your brain into black and white thinking. All or nothing. Always or never. There's no nuance in your thoughts when you're depressed or anxious. And I find it helpful to realize that that's a survival technique of your brain. It's your brain going into survival mode. Because those states, those feelings in the past, when we were closer to danger and closer to, you know, I mean, people always refer back to when we were like cavemen and that kind of thing. But when we were sort of less evolved, we were more in our animal state most of the time. Those feelings, anxious, sad, would be signs to turn away or to turn to something. And it would be a matter of survival. It would be something you had to work, you had to act on there and then. So you have to remember that your brain is, when it's depressed, when it's anxious, it's all or nothing. It's black and white thinking. And if you've heard of cognitive behavioral therapy, all or nothing thinking is one of the 10 cognitive distortions. I mean, I think there's probably more cognitive distortions, but going off of sort of the main guidelines of cognitive therapy, they list 10 main ones. Black and white thinking is at the top. So for me, for example, this morning when I was thinking I need to change everything, I've made all these mistakes, everything is wrong, that is all black and white thinking. And so, although I did feel really bad this morning, and I wrote about it and I cried about it, because I felt ashamed and I felt embarrassed, and I felt like actually the main sorrow was the feeling that I was wasting my life, really, that I wasn't doing what I should do to honor the precious life that I've been given. That was the main feeling that I was having, and that tortures me, because I'm someone who sort of by nature is really appreciative of small things. Like, I'm someone who, walking along, will stop and stare at a tiny leaf that's growing out. Like, you know, when leaves start to sprout in spring, for example, off of, you know, leaf buds off of the trees. I just stop and stare at them and just like play with them in my fingers, because I'm like, oh my god, you're so precious, you're so beautiful. And so I just so value life. And when I feel like I'm not honoring it, I really feel such sorrow and such shame. So that's one of the main things that I struggle with, is that feeling. And that's how I felt this morning. And now that I think about it, I was also experiencing another cognitive distortion, which is mind reading. And by the way, cognitive therapy, brilliant stuff. Cognitive therapy is absolutely brilliant. It has its place. You know what, I'm gonna do a whole video on cognitive therapy and a whole video on the different things that work for me. Cognitive therapy is a tool. I don't want to use it as my main tool. I have in the past, but it's very time heavy, and it can lead you to be too concerned with changing your thoughts, and that can take a lot of energy. However, it's really great to even just have the knowledge of the cognitive distortions we can experience. And if you have a repetitive thought and belief that will not go away and is preventing you from living your life the way you want to, cognitive behavioral therapy is the stuff. Or one of them. It's super powerful. Now, I had a therapist who told me about it, but she didn't actually teach me cognitive therapy. She was great, but it was more talk therapy. But hang on, I'm gonna make sure I'm still recording. Oh my god, I'd be so annoyed if I wasn't. I am. She, what am I saying? Come on, Kira, focus. Yeah, she told me about this book. So I will write the book down below in the description. I do not remember, or I might put a card on the screen. I'm not sure if I can put external links in the cards on the screen. We'll see. But can't remember the title of this book, but it's super good. Cognitive therapy is something you can do by yourself. So if you can't afford therapy right now, get yourself one of these books. Get it out from the library. Even just look up 10 cognitive distortions and you'll find lists online, and just start using them. You might not get it right away, but bit by bit you can get it. But I'll do a separate video on it. In fact, what I'll do is the next time I'm doing the cognitive therapy on myself, I will film it. Or at least I'll record it audio wise, so you'll be able to hear it as an example. Oh yeah, so oh, I digress so many ways and so countless times. Hang on, I'm gonna have to sip on my coffee. I'm sorry, I can hear that I'm getting a bit husky. But another of the cognitive distortions that I can now identify is mind reading, because so where I live, I can see out onto a green where people walk their dogs. And I love that. It can also lead me to feel such a sense of longing, because right now I don't have pets, and I've wanted a dog of my own my entire life, and I had one when I was a teenager. Oh, I loved that dog beyond words. But it's not responsible for me to have a dog right now. I just can't afford it. But and it's been that way for a long time. I should be able to afford a dog within the year. But at the moment I can't, and so I just had a sense of longing looking out onto the people walking their dogs, and I just thought of how these people are living their lives and I'm not. And I had the same thought about, I have neighbors next door who are Polish, and they're both workmen. I don't know what they do exactly, but I can tell from their clothes that they, work on construction sites and stuff. And I'm just aware that, construction work starts very early typically, so they're probably off out at 7. They get up, like 2 guys living together, they get up together, they walk to their job together, they chat to people on the site. It just seemed like, in my head I was just thinking, that's how people should live, just in their lovely daily routines, getting out of their head, just living. I felt very trapped in my own head. But, so that's a description of how I was feeling this morning, and I cried it out, and I don't know why or how, but my mood just shifted. Sometimes it just does. It didn't shift with any sort of action that I did. But it just shifted. But, or not any action that I consciously did anyway. But, the thing that I feel is, that it's not all black and white. There are lots of subtle and small ways that I can make changes, and they come with better mental health. That's what I feel that I have learned, is that you have to work on the foundation of mental health first. If you feel that anything is going wrong, or if you feel that everything is going wrong, and you can't seem to change it, to me that's an indication that you need to first work on your mental health. You need to dial it down to the basics. Meditating, writing, getting out for some walks so that you're out of your house, you're out in nature, or maybe not even nature, but out and about, get moving. And I'm not remotely talking about like weight loss or anything like that. I'm talking about just moving to get yourself out of your head, getting out in the world, and sleep. Getting good sleep. And fifth thing would probably be just trying to get fiber and protein. I find those are the things that make, food-wise, those are the things that make me feel better, just having more fruit, more vegetables. And the last few days I've been staying up really late. I've been not eating super well, not necessarily getting out for walks, and not writing, not meditating. I've not been doing any of the above. And so having a thought like this morning of like, oh, I need to change everything, I know that no, even if that's true, even if I maybe want to take on a part-time job or want to do something else, that's fine. But it's not for now. It's not for tomorrow. First I need to work on the foundation, and in a week's time I can maybe look for part-time jobs, maybe not. And that's the other thing, is like, I haven't been getting out and about, I haven't been singing much because I've been just a bit all over the place, and that's okay. I've also been working really hard on my YouTube videos, and that's good, of course, but I'm not great at keeping things in balance. I can do a lot of overworking and not taking care of the other things I need to take care of. That's what I do consistently. I always have this thing of okay, once I get X, Y, and Z done, then I'll relax, and then I'll go out, and then I'll do whatever. But actually doing X, Y, and Z without first taking care of my mental health means that I don't have the energy for all the other things. So I'm learning and just trying to share with you the things that I'm learning in hopes that it helps you a bit. It certainly helps me to talk about it, really does. So thank you very much for listening. And yeah, I think that's all I'll ramble about for today. I'm going to boil some potatoes because I'm Irish. I say that jokingly, but well, it's not a joke. I am going to make potatoes. But the Irish reference, it's so funny. Like, obviously stereotypes are bad, generally speaking, but there's some that, I don't know if you can hear my stomach rumbling, I just heard it there. There's some things that are like, yeah, that's actually a very accurate stereotype. Like, I have found that if you talk to an Irish person for any more than, if you as an Irish person talk to another Irish person for any longer than half an hour, potatoes will come up somehow. If you're talking about food, obviously if you're talking about politics, probably potatoes won't come up. But if you're talking about food and you're like comparing great meals, oh, you went out and ate there, blah 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 blah, eventually potatoes will come up, and it'll be like, oh, the meat was lovely, but the mashed potatoes were amazing at this place. Or like, oh, I love a bag of crisps. Or do you have any crisps? Oh yeah, do you have Tato? Yeah, no, I eat King crisps. Oh right, nice. And it's so funny. Potatoes always come up. We love our potatoes. However, we are not in the least the only nation that loves their potatoes. I find Polish people love a potato as well. When I get chatting to, there's a few Polish people I know, they love a potato. Same with Scottish people, actually, very much love their potatoes, and with good reason. The potato is fantastic. So there we go. Diatribe on potatoes complete. Okay, well, I'm gonna go. Thank you for listening, and I'll chat to you soon. Bye.